Hi guys, it's me, Wangai the Poet, and for today's video, I'm going to talk about the books that I read last year in 2022. I hope you guys enjoy. So I'll be talking about the books in the order that I read them. Enjoy. Okay, so the first book that I read was A Passage to India by E.M. Forster. Author profile. Edward Morgan Forster was an English author born on 1st January 1879. He was educated at Cambridge University, where he read classics and history. He was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature in 20 separate years, and his novels mainly deal with classism, gender, imperialism, etc. His other famous novels include A Room with a View, 1908, and Howard's End, 1910. Forster was influenced by the time he spent in India to write such a prescient novel. He died on 7 June 1970. Book summary. Published in 1924, this book is considered a 20th century classic. It is about an Indian doctor, Aziz, and his relationship and encounters with the English settlers and visitors in India, all of which culminates in him going on trial after being accused of sexually assaulting a young English woman, Adela. Themes of the book: British colonialism in India, the relationship between the English and the Indians, with the British racism and prejudice against the Indian natives heavily noted in the book. The book also explores the friendships, however minimal they may be, between some English and some Indians, e.g. the friendship between Aziz and Mr. Fielding and Mrs. Moore. The book was ahead of its time in its critique of British imperialism and racism. Personal notes. My favorite aspect of the book was the humble, diligent, and pure character of Aziz. Aziz genuinely believed in the good of others and sought to be of service to everyone around him. Despite his poor living conditions and British rule on his motherland, Aziz was not bitter. He was a good worker and friend. I enjoyed Forster's vivid descriptions of the Indian landscape and his writing style in general. Through the book, I learned more about India's history and the role Britain played in it. A Passage to India was the subject of an award-winning, critically acclaimed 1984 film directed and written by David Lynn. The second book I read was Code Girls, The Untold Story of the American Women Codebreakers of World War II by Liz Mundy. Author profile. Liz Mundy, born 8 July 1960, is an American journalist and non-fiction writer. Book summary. Code Girls, The Untold Story of the American Women Codebreakers World War II documents the work of thousands of female American codebreakers during World War II, including top analysts such as Elizabeth Friedman and Agnes Driscoll, lesser known but outstanding contributors like Genevieve Gretchen Feinstein and Anne Zalinger Christie. It tells of how they overcame their struggles, sexism, classism, and misogyny to excel at their crucial top-secret work of code breaking and help America and its allies win the war. Themes. Major themes are sexism, misogyny in World War America, feminism, and women empowerment. A huge takeaway from the book was how most Americans didn't know of the contributions of these women to the war effort until their work was declassified years later. These women were truly passionate about their work because they excelled at it without any expectation of public praise or awards. I enjoyed learning about the intensive selection process for the codebreakers as well as their various backgrounds. I enjoyed learning about their working environment, the camaraderie and rivalry they experienced. I also enjoyed learning about how cryptanalysis and code breaking led to major breakthroughs in World War II. These breakthroughs helped save many lives during the war. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Author profile. Stephen Chbosky, born 25 January 1970, is an American screenwriter, film producer, film director, novelist, television writer, and television producer. He wrote and directed the 2012 film adaptation of the book. Book summary. It is a coming-of-age novel about a teenage boy named Sam who has emotional issues and writes a diary to cope. The novel is written in the form of this diary. The book explores Charlie's emotional development as he makes new friends, Sam and Patrick, who push him outside his comfort zone. The book also explores the shift in his life as he explores further his childhood trauma. Themes. Major themes in the book include mental health, drugs, adolescence, friendship, child abuse, and trauma. This book should not be read by someone sensitive to these issues. I enjoyed the writing style of the book, especially the way Charlie explored his own emotions. I enjoyed his perspectives of life. In our society, boys are usually pressured to be strong and closed off. I found it inspiring that Boxy chose to write a book about a boy who is experiencing anxiety and other issues because other adolescent boys going through the same will feel less alone. This is particularly important in our current world filled with the pressures of toxic masculinity. Boys should know that it is okay not to be okay. It is okay to talk about their mental health. I enjoyed the beauty and power of friendship displayed in the book. I also enjoyed all the sections about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, especially its depiction in the film. The fourth book I read is Are You Smart Enough to Work at Google? Trick questions, Zen-like riddles, insanely difficult puzzles, and other devious interviewing techniques you need to know to get a job anywhere in the new economy by William Poundstone. Author Profile. William Poundstone is an American author and columnist. He attended MIT where he studied physics. Book summary. This book explores the intense interview processes at the most elite US companies and the line of thinking behind the questions asked in the interviews. The book offers advice on the most intelligent responses to these questions, whilst also encouraging applicants to find room for creativity and ingenuity in their responses. Themes. These include corporate culture, academia, intelligence, human psychology, success, and philosophy. Personal. I enjoyed learning about the hiring practices of top Silicon Valley companies such as Google and Microsoft. I enjoyed trying to answer the hard interview questions and was wonderfully perplexed at some of the surprising answers. Some of them were easy to understand, some of them were very difficult. No wonder only geniuses work at these companies.
So that's it for now, guys. That's part 1 of the video. Part 2 and part 3 are coming soon. Goodbye for now.